pain in the ass. What I was doing was cutting the holes in the air box and installing the pipes that you're supposed to install with the metal lock rings on back. Recommendation: it says drill right on the center of this rib right here. Alright, I would notch that out where you're going to actually start, because the damn drill just slides off either top or bottom, and it really is so tight that you need to drill it right in that center. Because now I got a big gap up here. Hopefully I got enough silicone on top. And then on this side, it actually went the opposite way. So now I've got a gap on the bottom, but I got so much silicone in there, it's actually kind of dripping down. Let's see if I can't make my finger a little bit and kind of pad that up in there. But there's so much silicone on there, I don't see any problems. I got tons of silicone on the inside. Got these 14-inch tubes on. I don't know if I'm going to do any more tonight. Probably clean up here in a little bit. That's probably the hardest part, is getting that box done. Oh, and watch inside these nuts right here. There's little metal collars. I dropped one. I left it off the front one. There's only 3 bolts that hold that thing on. So hopefully that's no big deal. I mean, pretty damn solid in there. Probably not supposed to be that solid because the front's supposed to have that collar in there and it's supposed to move. But these instructions are kind of vague. Like, I'm looking for the CVT outlet under the left floorboard and to apply heat tape. Well, first of all, my exhaust runs on the right side. The CVT outlet is on the right side. I think they just kind of made a blanket, you know, instructional instructions they gave us. But I don't see nothing over there. There ain't nothing there at all. Because the only thing there is my fuel tank, which I do got to get to the breather for it. So I gotta figure out where that is. But here's the outlet. Here's the intake. Those should actually be pretty simple. Just figure out where to route them. The easiest for me, you know, whatever suits my needs. And just run them up here. Because these, after you get the fender on, are actually you gotta point them in towards the center. The holes that you cut in the fender, and then the 90s that go in there, they want them pointing in towards the center. So these are gonna actually be like this, pointed like that. So I probably might not do them exactly at a 90. I'll do them whatever these fit. Without this radiator in here, and I really recommend, if you're gonna do it, might as well do them both and do it at the same time, because this would be just such a pain in the butt to try and do it twice basically. But that's where I'm at so far. These holes were a real pain in the butt, and yeah, you really do need a 2-inch. You can't use a 2 1/8, 2 1/4. That would be way too big. And you really wanna snug these on hard. You know, I kind of twisted them as I had a screwdriver inside here, tightening them up. And that seems to get them really tight, and they're in there pretty dang snug. The silicone I'm using is high temp RTD silicone, and it's a 24-hour cure time. So I think I'm gonna let this stuff sit and cure, because I got that to cure, and them 2 tubes, the 45s, and then the 2 tubes, because you got a silicone around there, and then you put the hose clamp on. So that's where I'm at right now. And I'll continue on tomorrow. I got today and tomorrow off, so I'll talk to you later. Alright, I'm back. I don't know how well you can see this, but that is the factory rubber that goes to the CVT outlet. There is the SYA 90 with another 90, so it's a reducer, and then it's going to come out on the left side, but it goes right above the shaft. So what I did to hold it up there is a zip strip. You can see the strips right there. One thing you're going to have to be mindful of is watching this I found, and the rubber that's up in there is going to be kind of crushed a little bit, but it's for the CVT outlet, so it's not such a huge deal. Hopefully the front, the inlet, is much better to do than that. I haven't got the tube that goes from this all the way up to the front. I haven't gotten that on yet. I'll do that here in a second and let you know if I found anything. That's what it meant by going out underneath the left floorboard. So it goes from the right side over to the left side. Alright. Hey, it's Aaron again. There's some new information. It's the next day. I went out and bought some of this. I don't know how well you can see it. It is 3M high temp flue tape. And it's basically the same stuff that Snorkel Your ATV gives you with your ATV kit. But like I had said yesterday, it covers nothing. You need it covered to about up to here. They give you enough to cover that. So I went out and bought some of that at Mills Fleet Farm. You know, it was, I think for the 2 packages I bought, because I need to use some for something else too. But I think it was like $15 for the 2 of them. So, and there's the wife. All right. So I'm gonna start doing the Rad Kit too. I got the front fender all back on, and lights on, and well, they call it a bumper, but stupid plastic shield for Suzuki. And I think it's going to be easier to get all the stuff underneath inside here done for the Snorkel Kit, and then do the Rad Kit, because that's just 2 small tubes that come up through there. So that ain't such a big deal. So I think I'm going to finish, instead of switching gears and going and doing the Rad Kit, I'm going to do the Rad Kit last. Just finish out the Snorkel Kit. And I ordered off of Amazon. These plastic clips are so cheap that when you try and pop them out, they just break. You know, they're just the cheapest thing you can get. Go figure. So I bought 100 of them for, I think with shipping, it's like $6. So not so bad. Whereas at my local ATV shop, they wanted $1.92 each. There's no way I'm going to pay that much. So I better answer the phone, or I'm probably going to get irritated. Well, I've gotten a lot further since last time. I've got the 90s underneath here, and all I got to do is actually silicone and put the clamps on to there. But I am going to have to get some tubes to stick in here because they're about that much taller than legal limit here in Minnesota. I tried doing their measuring system. I just took both of them, the risers, and slid them together like this right here, because they interlock with each other, and just drew a circle around them, and that seemed to work pretty darn good. Their measuring, it's kind of weird, doesn't rightly work. All you gotta do is you gotta pull these off, take the washer off, put it in underneath from the downside, put threads on the inside of the female here, then tighten them up. So I only have these 2 over here to finish off, and then I had to make spacers because my front bumper bracket is about a 1/4 inch tall, and the wild boar brackets come all the way up to the front, so I had to notch that out and then build spacers for these, for the back too, on each side. Luckily I had just some stock metal laying around, so I drilled holes and then cut them. So that's where I'm at now. Just gotta do some finishing up and then get the Rad Kit finished. And that's basically just putting the sides on and then assembling it. The instructions for it are about as vague as they can get. So I'll continue to update you as I go. Well, it's been a while since I worked on this, but I did get quite a bit done before I finished it. I figured out what the heck the noise was. It was me moving the base on the camera, so I went out and bought the little adapter to put it on a tripod. So hopefully that takes care of that noise. I also bought a microphone for it. And it's a pretty nice microphone. Problem is, I went out and bought a super suit, and the guy told me that's what I needed in order to hook up a microphone. But that's for diving. So that does me absolutely no good. I need the damn skeletons. Well, here is the radiator, fully installed. And like I had said before, I made my own spacers for underneath here and here on each side, because the bumper mount is underneath there. I still haven't gotten the new tubes for this. Like I said, they're about that tall. I got some really awesome risers for sale if anybody wants them. I just did a leak check, and there was a leak on the one of the hoses down where the original hose meets the hose you installed to move the rad up here. That just needed to be tightened up. I got my motto, 4 out of 5 voices in my head say go for it. Maybe a little too often they say that. But I got the hoses installed, and one thing I didn't think about is, you know, that's completely how it seals, and I put the RTV or the silicone in there, the gasket sealer like they said, but honestly now I'm thinking I should have put a lot more, and probably should have used another tube, because I'm almost done with that tube I got. I should have used it all up, because it can never be too much. So that's where I'm at, and that's a little bit of coolant that came out. That's the original coolant that's sitting in there. But that's what it looks like so far. Still gotta get the bumper on, and gotta go get my new tubes because these are worthless to me. So that's where I'm at right now. The fan kicked on, everything worked. All the lines got nice and warm, and there's not much to bleeding this thing. You just basically got to run it until that's all I could find online. Just run it until, you know, all the air comes out. So that's it for now. Well, I just got a new box in the mail. It is my Highlifter Kit. I already took the instructions out and read them, and these instructions from Highlifter are far better than the Snorkel Your ATV kit or the Rad Kit, which just really weren't that great. The Snorkel Kit is not so bad, but the Rad Kit, those don't even bother wasting the paper, honestly. This is only a signature series Snorkel Your ATV, Highlifter 2-inch kit. I really recommend buying everything you want and waiting till it all gets here. I knew this would get here before I was finished doing the other stuff, so I went ahead and started. But you don't want to be tearing these things apart 2, 3, 4 times just to do everything you want. Get everything. It took me a year and a half to save enough money to get all these things, and finally got them all. So that's why I'm doing this. But these instructions they're a lot better pictures, even though they're really small pictures. They're infinitely better, and it's actually really simple. The only part I'm not liking is I have to take apart the rear bottom the hub assembly, and they want you to grind out or cut out a part of your lower A-arm. But this is the unboxing. We'll get to the grinding and all that fun stuff later. So here's this goes on the back, and this goes on the other side in the back, and then right in between there is where your shock goes, or your strut, whatever you want to call it. These are for the front, 4 of them, and all the various bolts and nuts you need. Looks like everything. So I thought I'd just share that with you real quick. Now I'm right in the middle of doing the air line for the breather for the fuel tank, which this is a pain in the butt. I unbolted all the rack bolts, took off the fuel cap, and took all this plastic back off so I can lift this thing up. And you can see right in there is where the vent is, and then this vent runs back to here, and then into this vent, and this just stops right underneath here. So if you snorkel your ATV kit, you get the tube, but there's also a little black connector, and that seemed to work pretty good for this one, so I just zip tied it, and it holds pretty good. I mean, it is just an airline. And then there's a shroud that goes over here to protect the tank, which it's sitting around here somewhere. But you got to pull that off. There's only one actual screw that comes out, which is right there. And you're supposed to notch it right here, because right here is where your little box, which is sitting right there. That's where that goes. And you're supposed to notch it out. So I'm going to look at the instructions for the lift kit, and then notch it out while it's already off the ATV, and then put it back on. So that way that's all done. So I don't know if that'll make it easier, make it worse, I don't know. But I'm going to do it anyway. I found a couple of more electronic devices underneath here, or connectors, so when you lift that up, you can... Sorry about that. It doesn't auto-rotate. Right there, I put dielectric grease on those. And then I was going to run it, well, I want to go somewhere like that, and then keep it to the outside of this, on the other side of the heat tape, and away from everything hot. And then you're supposed to drill a couple of holes right next to where your risers go, and then run your line right up straight through there. And that's what's nice about the SYA kit with your risers. You get these little holes here, which are for your vent lines. Too bad I can't use these damn things. Just that frickin' much too tall. If I knew how to cut it right here and shorten that and bring these together and then fuse it back together and make it waterproof, I would do it in a heartbeat. Because these, they do look really nice. They're thick, they're sturdy. You know, plus they slide together, so they hold together, as opposed to what I'm going to end up doing, which is just getting some PVC and then just put some, you know, like 45s or 90s on it and point them back this way and then zip tie them together. And that's it. So it's going to look ugly, but it'll be effective. At least the rest of the kit looks nice and beautiful. But that's where I'm at right now. I just got this in the mail, so I wanted to show you that. Good thing I read it, because you know, I got to do that notch out of that gas tank shroud, which shows you right here, taking the little worthless toolbox out, and then you're going to notch it out right back here. So I'm going to do that right now, and then when I get started on that, I'll show you more of that. Here we are again. We started doing the lift kit. One thing I did not notice when I was first taking everything out, the brackets that go here are specific to which side you're putting it in. You know, whether it's on the left side of the control arm or the right side. You're supposed to have 2 left and 2 right. I have 3 right ones, and it's not much of a difference, but it is just enough. So if you put it together, they actually sit cockeyed like that. So you need a left and a right, so make sure you check that before you even start, because I've got 3 wheels on. And I don't know, I'm going to go get the light so I can show you what it looks like underneath in the front here. There is the bracket, the whole bracket. You definitely need specific to which side you're doing. The rear is a little bit of a pain in the butt, because back here, this heat shield is in the way of the bolt. So I had to just took a screwdriver, or not a screwdriver, but a pliers, and just bent it a little bit. And then here is the front bracket, and then I actually got lucky. I have just enough clearance up inside here for my boot not to touch. Otherwise, you'd have to take all this apart, take the whole apart, or not apart, but take it off the lower control arm, and then you'd have to grind it so the boot won't hit. This boot over here is screwed up, so I'm still gonna take that apart and see if I can't fix the boot. It just got twisted. It got stuck on it. But here's that section I had to notch out here. I notched out a little more than I needed to, but the box goes back on top of here anyway, so it ain't. I've got 13 inches right there, 13, and it comes with 10 and a half. Well, I got about 13 and a half actually, so I went up 3 inches. Yeah, too bad I can't use these things. They look nice on there. They look nice with them tube holders up there too. But I just called Highlifter. All they wanted to know was where I bought it, was it online, and then what exactly was wrong. And I told them I had 3 right lift brackets and only 1 left. And today is Wednesday, so I would have it by Monday, he said. So it's a little bit of time to wait, but I was going to go out today, but I guess not. So it is, I guess, time to put the bumper on, and I'll put this wheel and shock back together just so I can move it out of the way of the wife's car. So we'll get that done. That's where I'm at with it right now. I'm probably about 90% done. Can't wait to get it in there. And I think the Highlifter sticker looks better up here than the Wild Boar. Should have gone with the Highlifter kit. Them people they're pretty dang good at what they do. I mean, don't get me wrong. The quality of this it's fine. There's nothing wrong with the quality. It's just they really don't tell you how to put it together. You just kind of figure it out on your own. So that's where I'm at with everything right now. And yeah, they didn't even question it at Highlifter. They just, okay, we'll send one out. And like I said, I have 100 of these little push pins coming because I'm missing them all over. One thing I did notice, I had to notch this out up here in order for this to sit in there far enough so I could get this cover on. And because that is where the tube, the 90 or the 45 that comes out of the airbox is going. And there's really nothing you can do about that. Just is what it is. You know, it sucks, but you know, it's aftermarket, it's not factory. If it was factory, I wouldn't have to worry. The dang thing could be this tall if it was factory here in Minnesota, as long as it comes from factory, which I think is kind of stupid. But whatever. See you guys later. Probably in 5 days, because that's when my Highlifter part will be here. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye. Well, hello again. It's been a while. Actually about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I finally got the correct side, the 18I part number as opposed to the 18H, which I received 3 or 4 of them from Highlifter, but that's okay. They're really super nice about it. You know, so all I have left to do is put this onto that side there and bolt it up, and then I actually can go and start breaking in my new belt and clutch. One thing I'm thinking about doing, though, I noticed back inside here is where your exhaust comes out of the engine and then wraps around over to the right hand side, and it still gets really hot. And with all these Snorkel Kit tubes and stuff running in there, I'm thinking it gets probably a little too hot, so I might get some from Summit Racing, some of the exhaust wrap. I've been trying to message some people to see if that's a good idea or not, because it does get really hot right along here where the pipe runs. I was thinking of just wrapping it from where it curves out of the engine and runs to about here, and then from there back it's not such a big deal because it's got heat shields and stuff back there. But up to that point there's not really any heat shielding, and that's what ended up melting that wire loom that actually is factory from Suzuki to run wire cables for your winch. So hopefully that doesn't hurt anything. I don't think it would, keeping the exhaust a little cooler up there. But that's for a whole different video. So that's where I'm at. I actually got some pipe and elbows here, so I can make my own snorkel kit. I am going to put these ones on, because damn it, I paid too much money for them. And if I get yelled at, I'm going to have these ones back in my bag to shorten them up. And they're literally only going to be like that much shorter. Just the frickin' size of this is all the difference there is between what you're supposed to have and what you not supposed to have. So hopefully this video. And I think I'm gonna do the Warriors. Highlight the areas like the Warrior riser in here with blaze orange, because, well, I like it. I don't care what anybody else says. I know I've already seen other people do it. No, I'm not copying them. I had that idea before I even knew you could paint these things. I just like orange and camouflage together. I think it looks good. And I don't really care what anybody says. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get my new tires on before the Quad Mud Nationals up in Minnesota, the Quad and yeah, mosquitoes. Freaking mosquitoes all of a sudden the last couple of days. Yep. Finally stopped raining. It's been raining for about a week, and now the mosquitoes are out everywhere. So, but that's where I'm at. Today I think I'm going to go for a ride. I don't have a mount for the camera, for the helmet yet. I haven't built that yet. I'm still trying to find a piece of plastic or a cutting board thick enough so that it can countersink lock nuts. No, not these ones. These are freaking massive. But way smaller lock nuts. You countersink them into the plastic, and then you drill the bolt through, and then you put your padding back into your helmet. And I've got enough. I've got like that much space before the helmet actually gets to my face. So I'm going to actually possibly just glue in some more padding just so I don't end up knocking out my teeth. Something stupid. Because knowing me, I'll probably flip it. Whatever. Alright, so that's where I'm at. And I'll let you know how the ride went.